I grew up in Los Angeles, California, specifically a town called Pacific Palisades. Have you ever seen a television show called Baywatch? That's my hometown. According to my parents, I was talking and reading at a very, very early age, but when I was 4 years old, I contracted meningitis, and that burned up most of my hearing. Like some of my pictures show me when I was 4, like wearing that body aid. The big ear mold, and we had to attach it to a shirt pocket. And I don't think I got it behind the ear aid until I was about maybe 6 or so. And my parents, they had no idea what to do. They were worried about my future, whether I'd be able to find a good job and whether I'd be able to mainstream, have friends. They were worried whether they would be able to communicate with me. A lot of the same fears I think parents have today that parents have always had when they find out their child is deaf. My parents were directed to an organization in Los Angeles called the John Tracy Clinic, which more or less shares A.G. Bell's philosophy of listening and spoken language and mainstreaming for deaf children. And they put me up with a speech therapist. I went to Dartmouth College in New Hampshire. After me, they ended up taking a deaf student almost every other year, so they've had quite a few since. I was missing a lot, but at the time I just didn't know how much I was missing. So the necessary technology just didn't quite exist. And we had an interview at Harvard University with the Student Disabilities Coordinator. The person asked me, so do you have any plans for what you would do after college? And I said, well, I would like to go to law school. And the person said, that's very, very interesting, because I read an article not too long ago saying that there are only 8 deaf lawyers in the United States. And this was 1988. And I thought, only 8 deaf lawyers? People think that we have too many lawyers, and maybe we do, but we definitely need more than 8 deaf lawyers. So I decided right then and there I was going to go to law school. For most of the 20th century, being deaf and being a lawyer was difficult. Sometime in the 1990s, technology advanced to the point where captioning could be used on a laptop computer screen. I believe I was the second deaf person to use that type of captioning as interpreting, and there's a lot more deaf lawyers today than there were in 1988. Several laws have been passed requiring access, equal access for people with disabilities, deaf and other disabilities as well. Myself and other deaf advocates have tried to argue that these laws require captioning access in places where it's important for deaf people to have access to the information. Movies, schools, sporting event stadiums, plays, performing arts theaters. We have filed lawsuits and pushed for regulations requiring captioning. We have made progress. So the world today is a lot more accessible than it was when I was a child. My prediction is the next generation will benefit from voice recognition technology. I would love to be able to get into a group conversation where I could just hold up a device and just read along what people are saying without actually having an interpreter there present. That's probably every deaf person's dream. That'll happen eventually. I don't know when, but it will happen. I think that's the way technology is going. A mutual friend knew the person who had recently been elected A.G. Bell's president, also a deaf lawyer, and he introduced us, and Mike Tecklenburg and I hit it off almost immediately. We became great friends. We agreed on communication philosophies and started going to the meetings, the conventions, and started doing advocacy work on behalf of A.G. Bell. Eventually, I was invited to join the board, and it's been fun, it's been rewarding, and I love being a part of A.G. Bell. A.G. Bell's philosophies from way back when, the early 20th century, set the groundwork for a lot of the mainstreaming opportunities to happen for deaf children. It might have been difficult back in the days when the technology just wasn't there, but if A.G. Bell hadn't kept up the mainstreaming philosophy, the dream, then I think the opportunities we're enjoying right now might not have happened. Eventually, technology got good, hearing aids got good, the cochlear implant got good, captioning got better. We're making progress on the legal front for accessibility mandates. It's just got so much easier for deaf children to mainstream and attain the opportunities than it was a couple of decades ago. Today's deaf children had it easier than I did. I had it easier than the previous generation, and Hopefully tomorrow's deaf children will have it easier than today's as well. A.G. Bell, I believe, is responsible for a lot of that progress, and I am excited to be a part to see that progress continue. I am just amazed at how well the speech is for deaf adults today who are implanted as deaf children, or older children even. I met them, they were implanted as kids, and they were mainstreamed, and their speech is absolutely perfect. I am happy with my life. I have a good job, I enjoy my job, I enjoy my family. I don't know how my life would have been had I gone to a deaf school with all sign language. Maybe it would have been better, maybe not. That being said, I am happy with my life right now. And a lot of that is because of A.G. Bell's philosophies and creating the opportunities.